Well, we are Nick and Clemens, we are brothers, hello. Between us, we have more than 30 years of experience in the creative use of technology. Our stages are concert halls, opera houses, museums, cathedrals, and some, well, amazing open-air locations. So for this, we have always forged new paths, and of course, technology becomes an increasingly important role for us. So today, we are talking about how technology threatens the arts. But before we dig deeper into the topic, just let me explain how everything started. So, we grew up in a little village in Bavaria, and in the 1980s, we were little boys. One evening when our parents weren't at home, my brother took the film projector, switched it on, experimented a bit until he had an idea. He put the projector in front of a window, turned it slightly around the axis and pointed it onto the neighbor's house. What happened changed our lives. The picture, normally shown on a little screen, suddenly changed the whole house wall. It wasn't just huge, it was magical. I was 5. I thought it was great and my brother was my hero. When our parents returned home and saw us improvising a drive-in cinema, they weren't too enthusiastic. But believe it or not, this early experience was our starting point for our artistic collaboration. It was a first thing of thinking outside the box and putting technology into an unexpected context.
The family projector still exists. It's a dinosaur. It's a remnant from a forgotten world. Just compare it to today's situation. Every smartphone makes videos we kids could only have dreamed of. We have projectors available with incredible power, just enough to illuminate skyscrapers. We do high-resolution video footage with drones and simulate virtual realities. All we need to run a complex show is a boring laptop computer. So we live in toyland for every creative person. And we're a good example for it. So for our concert productions, we use large-scale projections. We use gesture-based interactivity and advanced audio solutions. Why? Because technology allows us to create immersive environments. They allow us to present our ideas in new ways. And maybe most importantly, technology allows us to kick off exciting conversations with our audiences.
So why, you might ask, why is technology then a threat to creativity? Usually people are impressed when they see a typical front of house. You know, the long desk with operators for audio, video, lighting, like here, lighting and special effects. Technology can take an artist anywhere, but it does not care about your initial creative ideas. Technology can even be a threat. When you start developing a project, you have to choose from a myriad of options. And often enough you are delighted by something you have seen elsewhere, and you find yourself just wasting time while copying and pasting it. During media production, you constantly negotiate between your creative vision and technical challenges. And when it finally comes to performance, you will be dealing with a significantly increased level of complexity. And one thing is for sure, last-minute issues will occur. At this point, technology is no longer your friend. Technology will totally dictate your schedule and priorities, and any creative consideration will be at the bottom of the queue.
I want to share a story that happened recently. Our son came home from kindergarten and he had an idea. He wanted to have a remote-controlled car now. I was happy it was not our daughter because she wants nothing more than a pony, so a car was something we could deal with. We got him one for his birthday, and I can still see his shining eyes. It was the perfect birthday gift. He immediately put everything to the test. We had a 4-year-old test pilot. I had to change the batteries a few times over the day, but apart from that, it was a peaceful day for us parents. We were in paradise. Paradise lasted for exactly 3 days. After that, the kid's car was abandoned in the corner. It's a sad piece of high-tech plastic waste, and whenever I see it now, it reminds me how quickly technology can lose its appeal.
What exactly drives us as creatives and artists? Transformation. The power of art is the power to change your perception, the way you feel, the way you think. Sometimes the encounter with a piece of work can change your whole life. As artists, we aim for those moments of transformation. Some great artists even influence the whole generation. Why? Because they speak to us through their art. It's a form of human communication. Let's face it, there is no such thing as creative technology. Technology is a tool. It can be a mighty tool. Technology can open doors. And what's behind? Sometimes empty spaces, but often enough new worlds open up, just waiting to be discovered. Technology still is a tool, and it should never be the message.
Over the last 15 years, we've been fortunate enough to include technology of all flavors in our creative projects. We've learned a lot along our way, and believe me, sometimes we had to learn it the really hard way. That's why we today would like to share our stories, our failures, and here's the top 5 list of our ways to escape creative dead ends.
Bridge your art and your audience. Everything you have to know about Anton Bruckner's 8th Symphony is it's a massive piece of music. When we staged this masterpiece in a wonderful concert hall in Costa Mesa, California, the conductor gave us some important advice. He said, always bear in mind where our audience comes from. Our patrons have had a long day. Maybe they are still annoyed by the last meeting. They sit in their car, and then it goes in our Californian rhythm, stop and go, stop and go. But they took their evening off to spend time with us. His advice: consider the audience as part of the performance. Your artistic message is never enough. Do everything within your power to ensure that the people are ready to listen to you. When the patrons arrived for the production, we welcomed them with a beautifully illuminated lobby, a specially designed LED sculpture, and a little pre-concert performance. Through transforming the space, we transformed their expectations. We invited the audience to open up.
Create new ways of expression. I remember a dance show we did in a historic landmark. We wanted the dancers to virtually paint onto the stone walls. But before we started with the project, we invited the performers to a workshop because we wanted to learn from them. No consideration about technology at this point. The workshop made something really clear. We had 5 very different personalities. One loved the big and dynamic gestures. The other turned out to be a calligraphy artist, and she painted with micro movements. So we developed these possibilities within an interactive framework, and the result looked like this. Could you see how these whooshs and the calligraphic crackles evolved into the final performance? This is exactly what we mean when we talk about creating new ways of expression. Technology should never force artists into certain behavior. It's our responsibility as creatives to always make sure that technology supports artistic personalities and individual style.
Now we have built a bridge between art and the audience, and we created new ways of expression. Now, do something meaningful. This is the moment of truth. That's the moment where you should ask yourself, why am I doing this? And the more options you have, especially through technology, the more important this question becomes. Why am I doing this? With no doubt, the Bavarian State Opera is among the most influential opera houses in Europe. When they did a production of a Verdi opera, the conductor approached us with a rather unusual request. After 2.5 hours into the production, half of the audience were becoming disinterested in what happened. Have a look. So what did we do? We created a contemporary electronic version of Verdi's original music. And it's always fun to surprise an audience, but we had deeper reasons. We wanted to recalibrate Verdi's revolutionary power and energy. After 150 years, we are grown accustomed to his musical language. And just imagine how it must have sounded for the very first time. The immediate reaction of the audience was fascinating because the one part loved it, the other part hated it. But everybody took position. So, was it meaningful? Some critics even identified our contribution as a focal point. We don't disagree.
The next lesson is a tough one. Keep it simple. Keeping things simple is hard work and needs a lot of discipline. When we once conceived a music film for television, we had a great plan. We wanted to present the musicians within virtual reality. We were excited because we truly pioneered this innovative format and everyone involved. It was new. We all disembarked into a journey into the unknown. We were thrilled because we had great technical possibilities. We had a large array of projectors and a brand new generation of camera equipment. So the first test came and we were frustrated. This didn't look good at all. It was way too much, way too fast, and there was a spectacular mismatch between the music's inherent dynamics and our own work. We were so frustrated because we felt like absolute beginners. So back at the drawing board, we stripped down everything. Our video content out, our effects gone. But sometimes you have to kill your darlings. This time it was a massacre, but it paid off. The more we reduced, the more powerful our work proved to be. And the music gained space to unfold. This is something we experienced more than once. When you start a project, you are full with ideas and you want to show it. But if you really focus on the core of your message, it's easy to leave out everything which is just decoration.
As creative people, we are curious by definition. We are bored by routines. Standstill is our most dangerous enemy. That's why we embrace technology. After 4 essential lessons we had to learn, now the most important of all. Be yourself. When we look back on how we started, there have always been strong influences. We certainly had our heroes, and sometimes it's embarrassing now to see from a distance where we try to copy and imitate them. Don't get us wrong, having heroes is not a bad thing at all. Many of our colleagues are true artists, and we admire them for a multitude of reasons. So, being yourself, that includes, be your hardest critic. Always ask yourself, can I do better? Be yourself, that means don't imitate others. Don't fall blindly in love with technical solutions. Don't get carried away by endless possibilities. Instead, we would like to encourage you to always put your own art and creativity center stage.
So where does that leave us? When we talk about using technology in a creative way, it always matters. Why? Because this shifts our understanding of sustainability, of diversity, of social communications and transformation. Always remember, technology is a wonderful toy, so play it. And it can be a mighty tool, so please master it. Thank you.
Thank you.